Why is modern outperforming vintage right now? And no, this isn't a, here's exactly why you need to invest in modern right now kind of video, although we could potentially get into that conversation. It just kind of depends what we want to. I'm looking at this cardinal right now. It's out my window. It's really cute. Anyway, hello, beautiful people. Captain Zack Sparrow here. We're going to talk about a little bit of the nuances around why is modern outperforming vintage, my take on that. And there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot for us to consider. And I just wanted to make a video about it to kind of talk about it rather than like a one little paragraph snippet, and paste that on Reddit or Twitter or Discord or wherever else. So let's talk about why vintage has been pretty flat and boring for the most part compared to modern. Well, one thing is, why are sports cards, modern sports cards, this parallel refractor 8,342 Justin Herbert selling for more than Peyton Manning Hall of Famer rookie cards, right? There's a big reason for that, right? The here and the now is really important. It's a really big thing for collectors. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, it just is, right? Like, for example, I am wearing one sock right now. It's not necessarily a bad thing, I just am, right? Maybe at the end of the video, for all of you true fans of mine, you'll get a sneak peek of that. So, one thing that I like to look at when I'm looking at modern vintage, whatever whatever floats your boat. I did see a comment a while ago, I forget where it was, where someone mentioned, PSA 10. Mario Pikachu cards going for similar prices to like Art Academy cards, and they think that that's insane. Here is where I think that is not necessarily the right take. That doesn't sit well with me in the sense of not, oh, I'm right and you're wrong. It's, hey buddy, here's why you're wrong kind of take, right? So it's just a little nicer, right? No. I personally, this is me, Zach talking, I like the Mario Pikachus more than I like Art Academy cards or Art Academy cards. Those are really rare. Pop count 0. And I know, because we're seeing it in the market, I know a lot of other people like those Pikachu Mario Pikachu cards and the Poncho Pikachu boxes and cards as well. All of these modern takes and spins, there's a reason why the prices have gone up. And as always, not to distill it down to just one fact, but it is a massive part, and it's something it's thrown around a lot, but it's very true in that it comes down to demand, right? So for example, we have these modern cards. How is it even possible, if there's not like one or two really evil people just trying to drive the price up, why are prices across the board for modern going up? Why is this? It's because of the demand, right? So there is more demand than there is that product. It really is that simple. And now it's not all modern across the board going up, although it is sort of. One of my previous videos, I think it was the most recent video, the Sun and Moon breakdown, how it's performed over the last 3 months. We did break down all of these sets, and I think for the most part, almost everything is up just from the last 3 months. Now there are a lot of macro reasons as to why they've gone up. Maybe with the floodgates of China being opened up, maybe that has a little bit to do with it. Also, here's something interesting to keep in mind too. Since March, over the last 3 months, so March to June-ish time period, over the last 3 months, interesting. Do I think people got their tax returns around the March timeframe? Yes, statistically, that's when you look at businesses look at March, April, May as massive spending months, the biggest spending months across the board for major industries. And this is what drives the economy. People will spend more during those months than they will throughout the rest of the year for a given month over month comparison. This is how the economy works. People get more money. You get an extra $2,000 on average for Americans. Yes, they're going to blow all of that money. When you give that money to an irresponsible, degenerate collector like me, I'm going to blow all $2,000 on that Mario Pikachu card, right? And again, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Going back to the one sock example, it just is, right? So that is what is taking place, and that is part of why that can, exacerbate the issue here, if you will, or the topic of people spending more money and driving up the cost. There's a plethora of macro conditions at play here, and there are things behind the scenes that we're not even aware of. There are things that we're not aware of that are playing out that could be affecting prices. Any list of things, right? So I can't control that. I don't know what I don't know. You don't know what you don't know. We don't know what we don't know. But let's focus on what we do know and try to come up with like an educated system, an educated conversation around the topic here. And I'm not saying I have the answers here. I definitely don't have the answers as far as why are the prices going up across the board all the time on all of these things. But a massive factor of that is demand. And I don't see a lot of people talking about this, which is why I wanted to come at this unique angle here, which is, again, this is not saying, here's why modern is better than vintage. Hey, if you would have been looking at vintage like 3 years ago, it would have been an opposite story from today, right now. So just take that into consideration as too when you're thinking about, here's why I'm going to only invest in modern for the rest of the... Generally, what I find with markets, this isn't just Pokemon, this is not unique to just Pokemon or card collecting in general. This goes across markets, and what really taught me in my early days when I was getting into being an investor, when I was doing other investing, generally speaking, consistently, not always, definitely not always. There are always outliers, there are always reasons why you should be hesitant and why you want to be risk averse whenever you can. As risk averse as possible that makes sense for the type of returns that you want to see. I need to bring my hands up here more. I feel like I'm doing this down here lower, and I don't think you guys are able to see that, so it might not look like the best thing if I do that. So just, if you see me doing this down here, just say, hey, put your hands up here. Like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. So dang it, this is why I can't do that all the time, because then I lose my track and I lose my, okay. So I'm on the same track here still, actually, believe it or not. Whenever the market is doing something in particular, for example, modern stonks right now, right? Historically, I have seen that as awesome buying opportunities for vintage. I'm not saying that's the case exactly right now, although I think there are some fantastic pickups right now. And historically, when I have seen vintage taking off, or when I see vintage hitting higher highs, for me, that's always a time that's not as sexy for me. Even though it's fun to talk about, it's fun to speculate with your friends and be like, dude, look how much money we made, or oh man, if only I would have known to buy that one card. Oh my goodness, stonks, right? Generally, like if vintage is taking off in this example, modern could be a decent play depending on where it's at, or something in the middle, right? Not necessarily vintage or modern, something what's called classic, right? What would be classic at this point? Probably black and white, but black and white base set, I don't know about that. Maybe something else in black and white, but anyway, you get my point. Another thing that I would want to try to keep in mind in this discussion would be, there's never a right answer in that, modern, vintage, classic. It's always the buy-in price. So I don't want to buy an expensive anything if I don't think it's a good deal. Like if I don't think, oh my goodness, this one card right here, I see it as an amazing opportunity. It's just not getting bid up right now for whatever reason. I'm going to purchase this card because I see this as 2xing, 5xing, whatever in the next however long, 5 years, 10 years, whatever my time horizon is for that particular investment. That is exactly what I would want to be putting my money into. That's what I try to put my money into. It's not, oh man, anytime there's a new, modern product out at that time. There's a lot of opportunity cost with modern too. What makes it really difficult, especially on the English side, is with these English sets in particular, there might be good buys right now, like for Paldea Evolve, for example. Even for sets, even for brand new modern sets, the best buying opportunity, for all we know, it might be right now. Maybe this is the lowest booster boxes will ever go. Who knows, right? Historically, we've seen reprints. We've seen additional waves of newer product. okay, if we do see that a year from now, 2 years from now, which isn't out of the scope of possibility for a modern set to be on shelves and available for that period of time. Booster boxes are a little different, but still, would it be outlandish if a year and a half from now we see, hey, there's a whole new wave coming out? That would not be unrealistic at all. We've seen that plenty of times. So would I want to sit on a bunch of modern right now for a year and a half that I know is probably going to be printed in the next year and a half? No. Here's the thing, you don't know when it's going to be printed, but if there's that chance that it could be printed, I don't necessarily want to tie my money up during that time when I think I might not be able to see those gains. On the flip side of that, you might be seeing yourself sooner or later in that evolving skies sort of situation where it just gets to the point where you're like, oh my word, they have to reprint it, right? And then it just kind of gets out of the grasp of, oh, wow, it's no, it's just gone at this point. So does that make, no, yeah, that makes sense. Like, of course it makes sense. Captain Zack Sparrow. I am kidding, by the way, like there is a small percentage of people, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, there are people who just don't get sarcasm, and that's totally fine, but I have to remember that. So I'm a pretty sarcastic person, and it's always, it's fascinating, and it's funny to me, like when someone doesn't pick up on sarcasm, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Some people, they just don't, that just doesn't click with them. I'm sure they're great at many other things in life. It's just, I don't know, I find that fascinating. That's really cool. So, and kind of sad in a way, because you can't pick on sarcasm. I have personally met people that do not pick up on sarcasm. So it's not me just making up stuff. But anyway, back to the Pokepokes here. Back to card collecting in general. In general, I like to go against the grain. So whatever's like cool and trendy and fun to be investing in right now. Here's the thing. Modern is stalking hard right now. Zack, are you saying that you're investing in vintage right now as well? Yeah, spoiler alert. Here's the thing, I'm never just dead set on one. It comes down to that buy-in price, right? If it is a good price historically, whatever vintage card it is, whatever modern set it is, I'm trying to keep it vague here because I don't want to give specific examples because tomorrow you could see the price flip, dip, trip, whatever, right? So it comes down to the fundamentals, right? And most of us really know this, but it comes down to that. I want to get my word out there so you know, hey, you're not crazy. You're not alone in this, man. I'm right there in the steamy hot tub with you, wearing one sock. And I just feel like people gravitate too much to the pop count. And I'm going to say that with a large caveat. Pop counts are great. That's useful information to know. I think it is important when making an investment decision to a point. I think people put too much weight on the pop count at certain times. And here's what I mean by that. I don't even know how many Umbreon, Moonbreon cards there are right now. I have no idea. I haven't looked at it in a bit. So I'm not even going to try to guess. There could have been a massive wave coming back recently. I don't know. So, and it doesn't matter. If there are 10 Moonbreons, if there are 1,000 Moonbreons, if there are 10,000 PSA 10 Gem Mint Moonbreons right now on the market, I can tell you for a fact, it is not enough. It is not enough. So, and again, going back to my example before, would I prefer an Art Academy card? Would I prefer a Pikachu Mario card? I would prefer Mario Pikachu, Pikachu Mario even. I would also prefer a Mariakachu as opposed to those Art Academy cards. That's me personally. I understand, I'm just one person. I also understand I'm not that much of a special snowflake in that I'm not the only one who thinks that. Clearly, look at the market right now. So you have to keep that in the back of that noggin of yours in that, yeah, but I don't think it should be valued. Who cares what you think it should be valued as? Modern is in a fantastic spot right now. I'm going to tell you straight up, modern artwork is better than a lot of older artwork. I'm not saying all of it. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. And yes, it's artwork. It's subjective. Absolutely. Here's the thing. There's a reason why people are in modern right now. Oh, well, that's what they're just getting introduced to. That's what's on the shelves, Zack. Once they find out about vintage, they know that this is it. They know that this isn't going to be the first set. Most people who are smart enough to make money in the real world, who have a real job, who have to pay taxes, they understand they have heard of Pokemon before in their life. They might be getting into it for the first time. Do you think these people, when they're buying a Moonbreon card, are they going to PSA Pop Report? They're not going on there. They're not going on there and saying, yep, this is why I want to buy this card because it makes sense on the Pop Report. Well, Zach, you're just contradicting yourself. No, what I'm saying is it's actually helping my point, and here's what I mean. If people are actually going on the PSA website, which they're not, most people are not, even savvy investors are not doing that. That's what a lot of collectors would have you believe. A lot of people are not going onto the PSA website and saying, here's why I need to purchase this new Stonkachu modern card. They're not doing that, number one. Number two, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's not enough demand right now. There aren't enough cards. Simply put. It's just, now, will this hold up over time? We have yet to see that. Who the heck knows? There's so many things that could happen between now and the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It doesn't matter. I don't even care. It doesn't matter at all. Do I think that the artwork is better right now than it was 5 years ago? Yeah, I do. I do. And a lot of other people think that as well. The artwork is fantastic right now. And that does matter. You're talking about shiny cardboard at the end of the day. You're talking about Pokemon at the end of the day. You're talking about cardboard. Yes, it matters. All these little things, it matters. It truly matters. So the market is telling us, the market is right now. The market is always right. Now, it can be wrong in the sense, anyway, that's a different, oh my gosh, that's a whole different video. The market is right in the sense, this is what the market wants right now at this given time, right? Now, the market could be wrong and you could see buying opportunities within the market during that time, right? I just want that to be clear because people attack just every little single thing that you say in videos, and it's really difficult because when you upload a 10 or even 30-minute video, like, that doesn't encapsulate everything that I want to get across it. But I'm trying to distill some of this information down to where it's a somewhat informative discussion. So anyway, I hope all that rambling made sense there. But even if it doesn't, I don't care. I'm recording this Friday evening. You guys are probably going to see this Saturday morning watching your cartoons. Maybe you're watching some old Pokemon videos even. That's cool, right? Pokemon cartoons. That's cool. I am excited to see where Modern heads in the future. I don't know. There you have it. I don't know what Modern's gonna look like. Today's Modern cards, I don't know where they're gonna be sitting 10 years from now in comparison to where Vintage is gonna be sitting in the future. Here's the thing about Vintage. We know 99.9%, okay, so we don't know now, okay. We know Vintage is gonna be sought after 10, 20 years from now. Today's Modern cards will also be sought after 10, 20 years from now, but which of the two, is Moonbreon the better play, or is anything a little bit older, is that the better play? My opinion comes down to that buying price. What do I think has the best chance for Xing or that percentage growth potential? That's what I'm most interested about. I know I'm a dirty stonker. I don't care as much about the artwork when it comes to just the strict return potential. Well, Zack, you should buy the Art Academy cards. I have enough older cards. I have enough modern cards. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, for me personally, I have a lot of fun just trying to speculate and game the market and say, hey, here's why I think there's a buying opportunity on this given card, this given box, this given whatever. So I hope all of this made some sense today, and thank you so much for watching this far as well. The only other tidbit that I would want to touch on would be, again, even if there are 10,000, even if there are 100,000, if there are 100,000 Moonbreon cards, if there are 300,000 people who want that card, what will happen to that price? So it just, again, it always comes back down to demand. And I know I hate making things so simple sometimes because that does kind of oversimplify things, but it does actually help. It does actually help and lend to the greater discussion of it sometimes is that simple, but why is it that simple? And then when you ask that question, it opens up the box of an endless amount of questions, in my opinion, and that, okay, why is it just demand? What is demand? What is driving this demand? Right? So you can really get into the weeds, and then you can just kind of lose your way and lose your soul during that process. But I find it a fun discussion, right? Like, and that's why you guys are watching this far into a silly Pokemon video, right? I don't even know how long we've been recording at this point. I wish I had like a smartwatch or something, or really even just a normal watch, because I record with my phone, so I'm just kind of sitting here in the dark, and like I don't have anything that I can look at. If it looks like I'm like focusing on something, I'm just staring at a spot on the ground. So so if you guys think I'm like reading from something, sometimes it almost always isn't that. It's just me trying to grasp at something that I can think of in that given moment to make a little bit of sense. So, because when I hit record on these videos, I do not want to edit them. So I just have to keep rambling. If something really stupid comes out and I'm like, hey, here's exactly why you need to vote for, and I say something, that's it. No editing. It's just going up on YouTube at that point. It's going to be permanently up there, and there's nothing I can do about it. So, again, I know I keep thanking you guys, but it truly is appreciated, you guys watching the videos this long, and I'm trying to get the channel a little bit more traction again, trying to, you know, boost the, what is it? Boost the channel, the views, the likes, the algorithm. Yeah, like the video if you like the video. I never asked that, but I'm just going to do it just once here just because why not? Heck, why not? Yeah, I hope this was a good video. I'm going to be doing all kinds of different videos here upcoming. We'll be doing some openings. A few of you guys reached out to me on Discord. Thank you for that, about the Evolutions booster box buy-in break thingy-majig. A couple of you guys commented on the previous video. Thank you for that. So I know we don't have exactly enough people to participate in the box break yet. There will be an Evolutions booster box break now. I can already tell you that. It's just a matter of time. I think in maybe the next like month or two, the channel should get a little bit more traction at that point to where I can do another video or two where I talk about it and get people to actually buy into it. But it's going to happen at this point. So it'll happen sometime this summer. I'm pretty sure of that. And then we'll just do a nice little break for that. And I'm going to be doing other little baby openings on the channel too. So stay tuned for that. I'll give you my wacky Zack updates and opinions on all those wonderful things. But the only other thing that I wanted to point out for you would be, at this point in time, my right foot is getting a little cold because I've only been wearing one sock this whole time. Oh my gosh, dude. If you did watch this long, I clearly had nothing for you. I apologize. Thank you for sticking it out, bearing it out for me. I appreciate you holding on for that long. That's what she said. So thank you guys. As always, thanks for watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe and watch another one of my videos. And until next time, count your blessings. You never know. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. I'm not trying to get too philosophical and too woozy with you, but tomorrow isn't guaranteed. So I want to make that clear for you guys. So thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys later.